Getting down on yourself when you miss a workout, a meal that you had planned, maybe even an entire day of eating because things just go berserk in your life is very easy. It's incredibly common, in fact, as if you have to perform perfectly at all times when you're trying to change your lifestyle. But that's not the case. And here's why I don't get worked up when I do miss a workout or maybe an entire day or week's worth of eating. I've spent copious amounts of time as both an athlete and a coach, having been a competitive rower and then a competitive CrossFitter and then coaching for 7-8 years on the floor, hand in hand with clients. I've been through it all when it comes to nutrition, workouts, what have you, all the things that generally revolve around lifestyle. That includes meditation, recovery from injury. I feel like I have this very long spectrum of things that I've been both incredibly focused at times and not at all at others. So having been a competitive athlete, I've been on the end of the spectrum where I wouldn't eat anything that I hadn't made myself and was in a Tupperware. Didn't matter if we were going out to dinner, I just wouldn't eat, and then I would eat when I got home. And then when it comes to workouts, that razor's edge where you only do the exact workouts that are programmed for you, nothing more, nothing less, and you follow it to a T. All the way to the other end of the spectrum, having children and realizing, oh, I don't get to work out, or I haven't worked out for an entire week. And on the food end, I'm eating my children's leftovers. So I know the spectrum of how things go. But here's the deal, at the end of the day, at this point, I no longer feel guilty or get worked up when I do miss a workout or miss an entire week's worth of workouts or have to travel or things like that. And here's why you shouldn't either. Let's start with this. Life is essentially a whole bunch of decisions that you make starting from the day you were born to the day that you die. And along that spectrum, all you do is make decisions. Every single thing that you do is decision making.
Where a single choice can branch out into infinite realities.
So as your life progresses, you become very skilled at making quick, efficient decisions. And in fact, that's what our brain is wired to do. Create paths of efficiency. It's why when you're learning to write, it's very hard and slow and scribbly. And by the time we're our age, my age, your age, whatever, writing is just, you don't think about it. It's like driving a car. You can get in your car and show up somewhere and realize, I don't remember any of that drive. Well, what happens is that your brain has made a very functional choice to realize, how do I get good at this thing and make decisions so quickly and efficiently that I don't have to think about it. It reduces computing power for what it anticipates will be bigger decisions that you have to make. So as your life has progressed, you've become very efficient at decisions. That goes for nutrition, workouts, things like that. If you have established a long pattern of fitness and eating well and making decisions that some would classify as healthy for you, well, those decisions become easier and easier and easier because that is your status quo. That's your path of efficiency. If you grew up in a household that didn't eat healthy and these habits were built for you, well, that's your habit patterning, and that's not good or bad. It simply is. Your brain has learned to make those decisions quickly and efficiently about what foods to purchase, whether to work out, so on and so forth. The next thing you need to consider is that every decision you make is done once the decision is done and it's in the past. The thing that I just decided on is now over. I can't re-decide what happened.
It's over. Go home.
Which means that it's not worth my attention because it can't be changed. All that can be changed are my future decisions. We can make new decisions that may alter people's perceptions of the things that happen. However, it will not change what actually happened. Now, if we take that concrete piece, going forward, any decision you make is yours to make and can be altered at any time. So if we again look at this spectrum, birth to death, if you have a decision that you want to change something about the way that you operate, say you want to start working out, well, just because you haven't worked out for 2 years doesn't mean that tomorrow can't be the day that you work out.
Yesterday, you said tomorrow, so just do it!
Now, it may be hard because you're repatterning your habits, like we talked about from before. This is a new habit, which means that it's going to take time and take adjustment to create a new path of efficiency in your brain. So, our life is made of habits or patterns. Every decision we make is done once it's made. Now we need to think about how do we make adjustments on our habits. For example, working out. We can't look too far into the future because we don't know what's going to happen. So instead, what we need to do is bring our attention to the decisions that are in front of us at this very moment in time. And that may be the hardest thing of all to do. The brain is very good at trying to anticipate and looking back. And if we're constantly anticipating and looking back, we never actually land at center, which is what is happening in this exact moment and time. So when we get to the question of why don't I worry too much about whether or not I am getting in a workout? Maybe I've missed an entire week's worth, or I haven't eaten well today, or maybe I haven't eaten well for a week. Well, it's because all of those things are now in the past. And everything that I do going forward is simply an opportunity to lay a new stone on my path every step of the way. And if you can take these two ideas, separate that the past is not who you are. Who you are is the decision that you're making in the moment. And it's why we can change who we are anytime we want. Is because with every path that we lay, or every stone that we lay on our path, it changes and alters the direction of your life. So if you're looking at yourself and going, why didn't I get in that workout? Or why have I been eating like crap for a few days? You can't worry about that because it's already done. Instead, what can empower you and what can give you that decisiveness to move forward with the direction that you want is by saying, I have control of the decision that is in front of me next. And when the decision comes, I will make a different decision. And that may be the hardest thing to do of all, is make that new decision. However, with every successive decision that you make in that direction, it gets easier and easier because your brain begins to build new habits, new patterns, and begins to determine what that new path is going to look like. So if this is your first time here, I'm Shane Farmer, this is Dark Horse. So I want to know, what habits have you changed? Have you realized that the majority of everything lies in the decision now? And if so, what have you been able to change? What path have you altered? What course have you changed so that you don't have to wear yourself down? That you can be forgiving of yourself and help yourself to live that life that you want to live. And usually we just happen to use rowing to help you get there. In this instance, we're talking about lifestyle. So if you want more of this, hit that subscribe button and the bell next to it, and I'll see you in the next one.